welcome back to the 8th concession. My name is Natalie. It's been a long time since I filmed something in the kitchen, but today's the day for a special Christmas project. Now, for those of you who've been watching for a while, you might notice that things behind me are a little bit different. And that's because the fridge is no longer right here. Now, what is going on is this is the way the kitchen was when we bought the house, and we're planning a major kitchen renovation. It's not imminent, but it's coming soon. And in the planning for the kitchen, the fridge that we really wanted went on a super duper sale that we couldn't pass up. I'm talking half price. And so we grabbed it. We thought, well, there's no sense hanging on to our older fridge and storing it somewhere, so we might as well put it in. But of course, when we went to put it in, it was too wide for this space here. Now, it will fit perfectly in the renovated kitchen, but for now, it wouldn't fit here. And because there's countertop there, we couldn't really cut it on this side here without totally affecting all the cabinets. So we've actually moved the fridge to over here, sort of behind the camera, just against the wall. And in turn, there was a cabinet there that we've moved in its spot and put in some of the appliances we need. It looks very makeshift, but then this kitchen is due for a major overhaul. So for the time being, I'm going to have to just live with my kitchen looking like this, which, you know, it's no big deal. So today's project, I am going to be making something many people are familiar with, and that is cookies in a jar. Now, typically you layer ingredients in an empty mason jar and gift it to someone. Now, this is destined for one of my daughters who has a young baby, and I wanted to make something quick and easy for her to do, just to make her life a little easier. However, when I was looking at these recipes, I have to admit, they look lovely in the jars. They are kind of handy. But when you give these cookies in a jar to someone, they have to still add typically butter, eggs, vanilla to the dry ingredients and then make it. In my mind, that just wasn't good enough. Basically, I'm just measuring their dry ingredients for them and putting them in a jar. While that saves some time, I wanted a dump and go kind of thing, just add water. So that is what I'm doing today. 2 different recipes of just add water cookies in a jar to make things really easy for her. Now, it was really hard to find any recipes for that. The one recipe for the chocolate peanut butter cup cookies in a jar I found on the internet, and I'll put the link in the description below for the blog where I found that, to give her credit, because I'm very excited to try those. The other one I've kind of done myself because I couldn't find a good chocolate chip cookie in a jar recipe that was just add water. In fact, I couldn't find any. Now, there is a little catch with doing these cookies in a jar with just add water, and that is you need a couple of very special ingredients. In order to still have rich and delicious cookies, you need some kind of fat. It is nice to have some kind of egg and some sort of vanilla. So what I'm going to use instead, one of the items is this. This is butter powder. So it's basically dehydrated butter, but I don't think it's exactly the same as butter. I think some of the fat has been removed so that you can make it into a powder. This is not something I could make myself at home. I don't have a freeze dryer, and I don't think I could dehydrate butter without it going rancid. So I did order this through Amazon. There are lots of different varieties of butter powder. I'm sure you can find some on Amazon if you look. It is fairly expensive, I have to say. So I did my best to find the most economical one. This one, I believe, is Canadian. I think I found one in Canada, and luckily I could get it through Amazon, because some of you may know Canada Post is on strike, so we can't get anything through the mail. But this is Spice Co. butter powder. It has the directions on the back as to how to reconstitute it. So I needed some butter powder. The next thing I needed for the one recipe was actually peanut butter powder. This too, I'm sure you can find on Amazon, but for my Canadian friends, I actually found this at Bulk Barn. They have butter powder, or peanut butter powder. They did not have butter powder. So I just picked up some peanut butter powder at Bulk Barn. Hopefully people in other areas can look in their bulk food or specialty stores to find peanut butter powder or order it online. And the third thing that I needed in powdered form was eggs. Now, I couldn't find, you can find powdered eggs online, but luckily I had a friend who was freeze drying some of my own eggs for themselves, and they gave me some, so I have just enough to do these recipes. But you do need freeze dried eggs or egg powder, so that's what I have here. So it took a little bit of investigation to find a couple of recipes that would work for Just Add Water and a couple of specialty items that I had to order, but they're here. It's getting close to Christmas, and this is a project I can't wait to have finished, and I'm so excited just to make things easier for my daughter with a young baby. So let's get started putting these together. I'm going to start with the chocolate chip cookie recipe, and it's pretty simple. It's a standard cookie recipe where I've replaced the wet ingredients with dry. I should mention this one might be a specialty item for some people. Around here, packets of vanilla sugar are found in most grocery stores, so it's not hard to find. But if you don't have vanilla sugar in a grocery store, I'm sure you can order it easily online. That's to replace liquid vanilla. Now, in order to make the layers look nice in the jar, I'm going to combine some of the ingredients. I'm going to combine the flour, vanilla sugar, and baking soda for a white layer. And then I'm going to do the egg and brown sugar for a brown layer, the butter powder and white sugar for the next layer, and then chocolate chips on top. After each layer, I'm going to sort of tamp them down a bit to make sure they're nice and even. So let's get started. Okay, now let's put together the chocolate peanut butter cup cookies. For this one, I have some cocoa, some mini peanut butter cups, and the same vanilla sugar, baking soda. I should have remembered to add that there's a pinch of salt in with the baking soda for both recipes. The freeze-dried eggs, white sugar, peanut butter powder, cocoa. So I'm going to mix these together and then start layering them in a jar. This recipe doesn't come quite as high up in the jar, but it'll still look nice. Now they recommend putting the peanut butter cups actually in a little plastic baggie and then putting that on top. So that could be a little bit tricky. I should put the baggie in first and then fill it with the peanut butter cups. There you go, 2 just add water cookies in a jar mixes for someone in your life who is busy and just needs something where they can dump and bake. I hope you give them a try. Bye for now.